I'm wrong.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the very first episode of You Right, I'm Wrong. I'm one of your hosts, Orlando, and this is...
I ain't got a name yet, but we're just gonna go by Mike.
We have a little working title on names.
Yeah.
So, this is the first episode on our channel. Now, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. That's my demeanor. I'm excited.
So we can feel the excitement. Yeah. So, this on this channel is going to be a little talkcast. We're going to talk about topics that may be a little uncomfortable for some. First topic for our videos, we're talking about integrity and
respect.
And it all kind of ties into a bigger topic, but first, what is your definition of integrity, and then what's your definition of respect?
Well, integrity for me is, you're standing on principles. You're standing on your code. Whatever it is you say, you do. You just have a moral, way about you. It's just, that's how you roll, And as far as respect, of course, that's something that you demand as well as you earn. Mm-hmm. But for you to even get that from anyone else, you have to respect yourself. And, you don't do nothing out of line or, out of pocket that makes you look crazy out here and stuff like that. So
that's true. You don't look crazy in the streets out
here. Yeah. How about yourself? What about you?
I'm so along the same line. Like, respect is just, I don't want to sound cliche, but like, you have to have integrity to have respect. Mm. And then you have to have respect in order to have integrity. So it's kind of like they're going hand in hand within each other.
Right.
So that leads to the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, which everybody has been talking about this online and oblivion. But we're going to hear my thoughts on it. So, how do you tie in integrity and respect to the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock situation?
Damn. Well, if he had enough integrity, I don't think that blow up would have got to that point, because it would have been nipped in the bud years ago. And because he wasn't standing on any morals or any code of ethic, guidelines for himself as a man, to be the head of his household relationship. He don't get me wrong, he's the head financially, but it's a difference in, when you have the respect of your woman and of your family. And he don't have that, obviously. And as far as the respect, he hasn't been respecting himself. Once again, we can't get things confused and mixed up because he's a big time celebrity that makes millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. He's unhappy in his own mind, and that's because he put his self-respect to the side to try to make someone happy, who in more ways than one throughout the years showed that she's still in love with a dead man, put their sex life on display outside of that situation. Then come to find out, you take your son's best friend and, who's probably 20 to 30 years younger, and you turn into a whole thing. And then not only did he come out about it, made a song and everything,
which is a horrible decision.
Right. It's one thing he did it because he's young and, he got issues himself. And so he got really intertwined. She didn't even try to call him and die the fire down. She used that as, ammunition for her own, talk show, because guess what? Who's the biggest star? Will. And so it just seems like it's a multitude of things at play, that you have a woman who's probably secretly resentful of her husband's success, because she out of all the nights to do that, to give him a look after the man is being professional and just trying to laugh at the joke, you give him a look to get him on cold. You gonna let him talk to me like that?
But do you feel like Will did an uncomfortable laugh, or do you feel like he was genuinely laughing at what Chris Rock said?
It was a professional. It's what is worse, you having a reporter saying, Jada, no more entanglements? Like, this reporter literally said something about that situation. That's uncomfortable. Guess what he had to do?
They put it off in a laugh. He
had to laugh. So, you're comparing G.I. Jane, a whack Oscar joke that was written for Chris Rock, that has nothing to do with this situation. Chris Rock was picking on all the nominees. If you look at it before, so everybody want to hone in on that as if you target them. No, that's how the writers do. He was picking on all the nominees, and he got to them and said a G.I. Jane joke that didn't have nothing to do with anything that dealt with them, and that's the blow up. You know,
I just like to dig a little bit deeper. Rumors have been going around that Will Smith and Jada had an open relationship. And there was other rumors as well. So, when the whole Arkansas City situation happened, it was kind of like that confirmed the rumors that people were thinking all along. And what I feel like it was like a messed up situation was that, one, you shouldn't be sleeping around with your son's best friend. That's Jada's mistake. You shouldn't cheat while you're married anyway. Two, was on Arkansas City's behalf. Why would you blast that out there and put it out there for the world to see? He did absolutely nothing in that situation but embarrassment. That's all he did. So, I guess putting the face to what everybody has been like talking about, it was just a bad look. And red table talk is just a bad, just in general. But I get it. Like, if my business is going to be out there, guess what? I'm getting paid to talk about my business. And so, with her talking about that situation, you don't feel like she grabbed the narrative and turned it into something else, rather than somebody running around saying that your husband gave me permission to sleep with you? You don't feel like that whole talk kind of like turned the narrative around to something else? Or do you feel like that made it much worse?
It made it much worse because it's with Jada, you kind of have to look at it. Like I said, it seems like a woman who, whatever, I don't know her past or anything like that, before, you know, she became an adult, what she dealt with. But for a woman to get with a man, express her love for another man, even if it was an open relationship, in those type of upper echelon type relationships, open relationships, agreements, let me say this, because it's a difference when you are a person of leverage, of value. You can have agreements. And an agreement can be, you can do this and that, just don't embarrass me. Keep this under wraps.
Let me throw a disclaimer in there. In order for an open relationship to work, both people have to know they're in an open relationship. One person can say they're in an open relationship and the other person doesn't know. That's not an open relationship.
This is not. But I would say when it comes down to people of certain type of money, and maybe the women that may want them and stuff like that,
you have more access.
You have more access, and also you have more leverage, and to say this is the terms, this is what I need. So when it comes down to their relationship, I don't see it being Will wanted the open relationship. I see that Will went along with what his wife may wanted. Look, Will had a reputation as being the nice guy that a lot of women passed him with in the industry. And Jada got him. And Jada even openly talked on Oprah about their sex life. How, you know,
she doesn't really feel fulfilled and a whole bunch of stuff.
So it's a lack of respect there. So, dude, if a man is making love to a woman and she's saying, he ain't blowing my back out like that, like, do you think that man was the one that came up with the idea of the open relationship?
No, I don't think so.
No, it was her. It was her because she wasn't getting what she needed. So, I think that when it came down to the August thing, I don't think August was looking for anything out of it, because he was dealing with he's dealing with depression and all that, and doesn't have like a debilitating disease or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he might have he might have really got caught up in that and fell in love with Jada and felt scorn that a woman couldn't be with him, and instead of Jada, like, you can't help what the other person did, but if her and Will had an understanding, they talked about it and dealt with that behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. Jada should have called August. Will, both of them should look, man. We need to talk. You need to go on air, clear this up. Whatever it is you need to do, however much you need. Mm-hmm. She didn't do that. She took it on her TV show where she already have her, no disrespect, her weird kids on there, her mom and all this. Divulging all this crazy information and everything about their family, and it just looked like weirdos, and they just look crazy. Like, she took that and put Will out on blast. Mm-hmm. That he already had to suffer through that mentally behind closed doors, and to have to turn back around and come out to the public about it when it should have just been hushed. Like, no.
But I feel like it was hard to do that because when August had made that initial blast, he did on Angela Yu's show, Lip Service. So it's kind of like it was already out there, and he just kept talking about it. So maybe behind the scenes, she did try to talk to him, and maybe he probably didn't want to talk. He was scorned.
What is easier? You let me know. What is easier that you tell you? What is easier? You come out with a rumor about me, and I say, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, it's out there. We know what? I don't know what you're talking about. We know, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, today, Orlando just put out a rumor about Michael, about he was, French kissing a turtle. And, we asked Mike, what it was. He said he don't know what to talk about. There really isn't no proof or evidence, but we think he really did it. Like, we don't think nobody would just come up with that. Interview number 370. So Mike, what's up with you about French kissing this turtle? Man, look, dudes is out here weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
I get what you mean, but it's like when you have something that is like so weird that it sounds true, it adds more validity to it. People already thought that Will and Jada had an open relationship. And then all of a sudden, when somebody who was not on his radar at all, just randomly brought that out there. It was like nobody really knew the connection. Them actually, the Smiths and August having a relationship with each other. Nobody knew that. So you already have like a rumor out there, you have a face that goes with that rumor that kind of adds validity to the story, and it kind of makes it seem a little bit more true. And like trash kept getting added on to it until it got out of control.
But who cares? At the end of the day, if you're my wife, I'm your husband, this is our mess. I don't care how out of control it get. We're gonna find, if it's supposed to be under wraps, it's gonna stay that way. Deny. And guess what? His word against our word. Will send out a assist and decease order. He ain't got more money than Will.
No, but he had text messages and letters to him and Jada.
Guess what? We're gonna put out that gag order. And if it doesn't matter if my wife was on code and had more respect for me, it doesn't matter what. No, if I say we deny, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the law on his ass, we're gonna do that.
So deny.
That, I mean, that's like the overall theme is if she had respect for her husband in the situation, it doesn't matter what the public opinion would have. If she would have been on code and treated her husband accordingly, I'm pretty sure Will would have probably seen more alpha come out of Will just because his wife was defending him, even if all the leverage was against him. Like, my wife is riding with me. I'm pretty sure it would have been a totally different situation than her taking it to the red table talk to get more ratings for her. And it seemed like to me with her spirit, it's very selfish, and like you can tell resentment there for her husband because hey, he is the star, and they're both actors. She is not what Will is. She never really gained traction like that.
To be honest, I hate to say this, but she gained most of her popularity when she became married to Will Smith. So it kind of benefited them at first equally, but it helped Will more than it did her.
Right.
Because Will got more acting roles, people wanted him on more things than Jada. But I mean, I would say it takes two to tango. Like, if you're in a situation towards where you feel like somebody's not respecting you, they're all talking about their ex. Every single year, Jada always has something that Tupac did for her in the past. Whether it was a letter he wrote for her, or I think it was like last year was his birthday. And she put up.
My bad. And to all the men that want to say Will did the right thing, listen to what he's saying when he talking about when you got that girl that's talking about that one ex and how that made you feel. That's all I got to say.
But I mean, it was just some build up where it's like everything she's talking about something Tupac did. So it's like, if you feel like you weren't being respected in that situation, somebody's not respecting you, then leave. He had every chance, every right to like leave.
Yeah, they had a prenup too, right? So she didn't get that. Yeah, okay.
So, but he decided to save the situation. And then, on the other end, on her behalf, if somebody is allowing you to disrespect them over and over again and they're not doing anything about it, it's like you're almost like creating a monster where it's like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I know you're not going anywhere. And then even Will said in the Red Table Talk thing, he said they have, what was it, spiritual connection or something like that. So they're never going anywhere. She's never with him and he's never with her. Yeah, it was some word they used. So,
AKA, I love my wife, but my wife doesn't love me. But I know it's something there. No, man, look.
Whatever that something is.
You're honestly there for convenience at this point. She's in turmoil in her own life, and she's wrecking your life and your reputation. And to the black women out there who's on this whole protect black women train, to the men out there, if you're a girl, or if any prospects, or if any girls that you're looking at online you thought was cute is saying that what Will did is admirable, you know, no woman should be telling a man how a man should be. That is not how men work. Mm-hmm. Because had this would have been in the streets and these are just two street dudes, somebody would have been beat down really bad, dead, or in jail because they had to shoot somebody because guns was drawn. Mm-hmm. That's no way to handle a situation. But not to go off on track, but yeah, I mean, I can't feel sorry for Will at this point because you have allowed this woman to pretty much disrespect you for years. And even then, if you look at how the way the kids was raised, I'm not necessarily seeing impact from Will. If you kind of look at the chaos and how the way what's Jaden is, he's out there just doing whatever, and Willow, you know, she's out. That more resonate with how the way the mom moves than how the way Will moves. Because Will's other son, by his first wife, he was great in football and all. He go to college and everything. He seems like a very well balanced kid.
That's most of that structure,
right? And and I don't know whether that's to, you know, Will's testament of being a part, you know, or whatever. But that says a lot too. If he's with the mom, or the mom of his, you know, first wife was, she seems very. That's the woman he should have been with. She seems very balanced and stable.
But you have some people don't like stability. Some people like the wildness or the unexpected. It's more exciting to be in a situation that you don't really expect what's going to happen.
It's chaotic.
As compared to chaotic. More people like chaotic situations than something that, you know, what's the word, like monotonous, where it's going to be the same thing over and over again, where that's like kind of boring. So maybe you probably see that spice in Jada that made her feel like, you know what, that adds like a little bit of credit to me because I was somebody who is as spicy and chaotic as she is, so that adds more credibility to me, not just street cred.
Well, if that's what he wanted, that backfired because he wasn't able to control that wildfire. He wasn't able to control that. And to be honest with you, it backfired in more ways than one because you got the edge and, you know, whatever now, which is I don't think she really added any edge to him. Mm-hmm. You know, Will Smith, would have been Will Smith without Jada Pinkett or not. Jada Pinkett wouldn't be Jada Pinkett without Will Smith. So let's just be real about that. You know, because she has Smith attached to Pickett, that what makes her who she is. And, you know, I know a lot of women may not want to hear that, but that is just that. Who's the breadwinner? Who, because she got all this publicity attached to Will, that's why she's still relevant.
But here's the funny thing. When you ask the question, who's the breadwinner, obviously we know who's the breadwinner. But the big question is, who has the pants in the situation?
Oh, well, of course. And
that's the big question.
Men, hey, man, yo, you got to be on your stuff, man. Make sure you choose the right woman that wants you. And that's going to be on your program. And unfortunately, Jada, she runs that. She runs it with reckless abandon, and she doesn't really care. Like, it's about her. It's about her. And
it truly is. I just feel like from the get-go, there was like no respect for Will. And I guess what you've been kind of like played over and over again is like the joke. You reach like a breaking point. And like what we were talking about earlier, it was going to be a lose-lose situation for Will anyway. If Will didn't do anything, people would have clowned him and would have said that the jokes of, oh, that's why Jada's not with artists, so that's why Jada's always reminiscent about Tupac because of X, Y, and Z. If what he did, people are like bad after him, saying that Jada led him to this path and all this and that. So it would have been a lose-lose situation for anyway. Now, I don't condone violence, especially like that. You're in the middle of a whole bunch of people like your peers. And you attack somebody for making a corny joke. I feel like moving forward, that's going to set a precedent where people feel like from now on, if I don't like what you said, I'm going to run up on stage, I'm going to slap you. But how Kanye West got on stage Taylor Swift. He didn't like the Taylor Swift one over Beyonce, so he got on stage, took the mic away from Taylor Swift, and said that Beyonce had the best video of all time, which was true. But besides the point,
I think it's two totally different situations. I think that worked for MTV because it's not, you know, and that helped both of their careers.
Yeah, but I mean, people feel uncomfortable with like disrespecting people. We don't want that to be up because, like, well, actually, no. There's a title went out for Chris Rock too. His comedy tour that he's going on now. They said that since the incident, his comedy tour sales have skyrocketed.
I bet he got some material.
So it kind of benefited Will and Chris. Then Will somewhat. Oh, he's a banner. I guarantee now people are talking about the whole entanglements now.
Oh,
because people are going to stand and okay, well, if I say something about Will,
no,
Will's going to slap me.
No. It backfired. Like, because now you got to see this space with, you know, like I said, you got two groups of people that disagree and don't agree. It's not even about him winning his Oscar on one of the biggest nights where, you know, black people sort of broke through in the Oscars. And you had a black person to set up the Oscars with a mostly black staff and all.
Overshadowed.
Right. Like, we're going to be talking about this moment instead of other people and his accomplishment at the Oscar. And on top of that, his reputation was already shaky, especially amongst men. Now it's just, you know, it's just like, damn. So, and then for two, I don't think that nobody would have been made to mean, like, if he not would have smacked Chris, the joke was so insignificant. I think the only reason why people thinking that deep about it now because it happened. But had he not would have smacked them, and he was picking on other people, I could see maybe like a couple of memes. But people who was really watching the Oscars, especially black people, who was watching the Oscars like that to really, you know what I'm saying? For it to be a big thing that Chris Rock made a corny joke that he didn't write, of course, on Jada. I think the only reason why that's a point now because it happened. If had it not happened, nobody, you know, that just would have blew over. And for two, for you people that saying Chris Rock is wrong, then you don't need to go to the comedy house.
You're sensitive. Don't go to a comedy show if you're not sensitive.
Don't sit your ass on that front row because that's what comedians do. You know, especially ones that specialize in picking on the crowd. So that G.I. Jane, like that, G.I. Jane is a strong female character in the movie. That's kind of a compliment by being funny, but he picked on other people in the crowd. It's nonsense.
But that's what made it like more deeper was that whether he knew or whether he didn't know Jada's condition about her having alopecia, that was the reason why she shaved her head. So, that's just me. I see it both sides. Like, if I'm around someone and I know that they have something going on or somebody's picking at them, I would defend the person I'm with. Especially if I know that you have something that's all like embarrassing and I supposed to make fun of it. But then, I feel like you said, there's another way to like handle certain things. Like how you said he should have went backstage and should have talked to Chris about it. But
come on, look,
I'm in the middle.
I know somebody that has alopecia. Of course, nobody don't talk about it. We ain't comedian, not gonna just do that. Now, of course, if he was to take a shot at me, you know, but even in a situation like that, I didn't know that Jada had alopecia. Unless you watch the Red Table Talk, a lot of people probably really didn't know that she had alopecia. But for one, let's get something straight. Alopecia is not a life-threatening disease. It's just a falling out of the hair because of, I have male pattern baldness. That is a form of alopecia. You don't think men for a long time have been getting called milk duds and stuff like that?
I mean, but like, more people feel like, okay, if a man is like bald, people say that, oh, that's like sexy if a man is like bald. But if women have more emotional connections to their hair, they do.
So now here go the double standard.
I mean,
here go the double standard now.
It's true though. I want to have more emotional connection to hair.
So here go I don't think that's not true. Because as a man, when my hair started, when I got that spot and that started to lose, you'll be surprised. Men can be very insecure because you done seen yourself all your life. Just like women, that's still your identity. Getting that haircut, all this
hairline and everything.
Or you always want to grow your. I know I wanted long hair. I want to get pointed right. I want the bangs and all. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I wanted the bangs and all. I want to get on my pretty Ricky. I can't do that now. So I went through that period when my hair really started to fall out, and I tried to hold on to it as much as possible. What made me go ahead and cut it? So I was getting like a real low cut, and I still had waves. Like it was like low, it was real light. You barely see it, but you still see some. So I was at work. Somebody made a joke like, "Oh, you got waves? Well, your waves stop like right there." I was like, "Oh shoot, I gotta go ahead. I gotta let it go. But
then that makes you feel like so. That was a joke that person was making. They didn't know the situation. Did that make you feel a certain type of way, or you was like, "Oh, I don't care"? Be honest.
No, I was gonna say this is why I do think that this is where it differs for men and women, and that the world is not sugar coated for us, so we can handle rejection and those type of things better. And as far as women know, I don't think they can handle rejection. But when that was said to me, I was like, oh shit, I'm out here looking crazy, you know, like. I need to go ahead and get that thing cut, and I went ahead and got it cut, and it's like, oh man, you know.
But to add a little bit of insecurity because somebody drew something out that you already knew that made you feel uncomfortable.
I don't think it was insecurity; it's more so the realization that it's time for you to let it go. You got to be real with yourself. That's you know, if sometimes what being insecure is, it can be a fog over you. It can make you delusional. You know, I still got it, even though you know I'm losing it. And you need that. Somebody be like, God, what you got going on? Yo, you need to, boy, you need to do something. Like, I went in and cut it. Now I done got used to it, and I like it, you know. So it just what it is. But if you want to compare that joke to, hey, I see you on, I can't wait for G.I. Jane 2, like, come on, man, and she ain't even bald. She got like a fuzz, man. Like, come on, man.
Oh no, she's bald.
I think she completely cut it now, but it was still hair right there when I seen it.
Bald. For me, and I understand what you're saying. Like, it was a harmless joke for somebody looking from the outside in, but coming from, if I know something, if I have a condition or whatever it is. And it was already hard for me to go through that. And if somebody's like calling it out, not knowing what emotional state I'm in that moment. And I'll use myself as an example. when I had my surgery on my voice, a lot of people didn't know. So people kept making like comments of, oh, you must be deaf, or I must be like mentally challenged, or like a whole bunch of stuff. Like people making like jokes and like making assumptions. Not knowing that, okay, well, I had a tumor in my mouth that had to be removed because I had a cancerous tumor in my mouth. So it's like, at first that didn't bother me. People didn't know. People making like harmless jokes and harmless like whatever the case may be. Not know what the real story was. So it's like, that did make me feel a certain way for a little while because I didn't know what actually happened. But I mean, I realized people just enter it, so you get over it. I'm over it now, but not people making comments. It may be harmless to them, but like, they don't know what your mental state is. So it's like, what you may think may be harmless to you may be like superficial to someone else. It's like, it's okay to say how you feel, but like, not all the time, and then setting the obvious is not okay. Sometimes it's better to keep something in rather than like voicing it. Not everything needs to be said.
I mean, okay, so I would say I will agree with maybe read the room, but once again, this is a event with hundreds and a few thousands of people in the arena. He's doing his job. And at the end of the day, if you, like, it's one thing with the voice thing, if somebody's being that insensitive, like, that's very insensitive to say something about somebody's voice. Yeah, I can get that. But a hair comment, it's one thing, if she had patches in her head, something crazy like that, you know, where it just be like, yeah, all right, you probably shouldn't, you know something was wrong. But
I don't like to sort of like patches now.
Let's be clear. If she had any sort of cancer or anything like, people would have known. But alopecia is not a cancer. It's a form, a pattern, well, a screening, I would say, baldness. That, you know, hair comes and goes. That's it. It was nicely cut, and it just was what it was. Just because people can be insensitive, and I would say that people do need to take the time to have discernment, but that's just not life.
Like, monitor what you are about to say.
Right, but that's not life. So you now need to monitor your emotions to not do something to pretty much Will built himself up, 20-something years, 30-something years, and in 5 minutes?
It was all just...
So there's never no excuse. And for women to sit up here and champion this, you're essentially saying that my husband better be willing to die or to go to jail. Rather, he done built your family up and working or whatever. He better be willing to die for my honor or go to jail. In 5 minutes or 5 seconds. No. He could have went backstage and talked to that man as a man. I don't care. That is the law of, I would say, man law. Before any real man understands, before it needs to get physical, I'd rather talk it out, because as men, we know we're violent like, we can be violent. Let me not say that we can be violent just because of how we're genetically built.
Nature.
It's nature. It can go either way. I want to talk it out first before it has to go that way. And I think it was Ricky Smiley, like he said, he could have waited in the back and took Chris to a small room and asked, yo, what's up with that comment about my wife? And if Chris would have like, oh, well, look, man, I had writers, whatever the case may be, if that offended her, my bad. Or if Chris would have said, oh, well, I mean, I said what I said, like, what's the problem? And then if he would have smacked him, okay, well, we kind of understand you didn't.
You kind of deserved it.
Yeah, you took extra precautions. You approached him like a man and you let him know it was a problem. But just to walk up on stage like that shows that you have a lack of self-control. That's unacceptable.
I agree. It's a lack of self-control, but then I don't want to fault someone for... Everybody has those moments in life when they snap and they do something that they wouldn't normally do. And it's like, a lot of times, it may not be you. You might not be the center of my problem. But you might be that one trigger out of all the stuff I have going on, and I'm going to lash out all on you. And so maybe the whole ridicule of him being jumped at out being less than a man because of what Jada put out into the atmosphere. That probably just like overwhelmed him, but once he seen her facial expression was, he probably thought this guy, well, wow, my wife is upset. This is the point where I can prove to her that, you know what, I've been a protector for you. And he went on stage and slapped Chris Rock.
So that's okay. So that goes into another, like, so you're proving yourself to a woman that you almost been married. Well, you've been married to for what, about 20-some years? That says a lot.
I mean, but you got a lot of people who are still proving themselves to their parents.
That's
and they're not adults.
That's I'm going to. That's two different things, and the reason why I'm gonna say this is because once you cut off from your parents, your parents' job is done. If they still got this high expectation, you are an adult at that point to find who you are. When it comes down to a person that you're marrying, you done signed a contract, y'all have become financially as one and supposedly spiritually as one. There should be no more, I need to prove myself to a woman that I'm providing for who don't have to work, and I shouldn't have to prove myself to a man that hey, look, I'm doing everything that I am to do as a wife. You know, there should be at this point elevating and maintaining what we have and communicating at that point. Proving myself is past the stage of, you know, courtship and all that. You obviously asked me as your girlfriend at that point, so I must have been worthy enough to be, you know, your girl and vice versa your man. So now, you know, whatever it is that it was that brought us together, I need to, you know, maintain that and find new ways as well to elevate the relationship. And when we go through our low points, you know, we'll know how to communicate and talk it out and do what we need to do. Why, you know, he proving himself to a woman that essentially is riding off of his dime. Their kids is grown. Jada's what, 50?
This is not 50 something.
Will is what, 50? 40?
Will is older than Jada, right?
I don't know.
Or is Jada older? Well, they're not going to 40, late 40s, early 50s.
What are we proving here? You've been farting in the bed with me for the past how many years now? I done had to smell your doo-doo and everything. What are we proving here? We should be communicating, maintaining, learn how to elevate. These kids is grown. We should be taking trips around the world. You should be happy for my success because my success is your success. Why are you not backing me up? So there's, at that point, no, he's a sucker at this point. You a sucker at this point, man. You could have pulled that man to the side and talked to him as a man. Yo, look, my wife didn't appreciate that. I know what it is, man. Can you go apologize to my wife, please? You know, she wasn't feeling that. And I'm pretty sure Chris, he might have felt some type of a little bit. All right, well, you know, I got you. I'm pretty sure his guys have been working jobs at steel mills, hot environments, oil rigs for 35 years. And we've probably been through worse than what Will has and probably wouldn't jeopardize what they got. I don't work at, you know, UPS and places like that where I done seen guys either bought the condom blows, and if they have condom blows, guess what happened? They got fired. Unless, you know, they set something up outside of work. You know, meet me here. I done heard stuff that done happen, and hey, whoever got beat up, they went back to work and got laughed at the next day. But, you know, I done seen where stuff almost escalated and, you know, men may get in each other's face, but they understand, all right, I just need to get that out in that moment, but we can talk about it later. But it's just ways to handle things, especially as a reputation that he has that's on the line here. You know, you wasted all that pretty much for a woman who can essentially stay or go, or who's going to keep disrespecting you.
I would say this at the end of the day, everybody has their own relationship dynamic, and so what may work for them may not work for others, and in that moment he felt that was the right thing for him to do. Fast forward to once the night was over with, they had a little after party. It was dancing to get jiggy with it, so he was having a good old time. He was like, I slapped somebody and I had an Oscar, and I defended my woman, so that's a good night. I thought the only reason why he apologized, I don't really feel like, in my perspective, I don't feel like Will is sorry for the situation at all. I feel the only reason he apologized on his Instagram note was because probably his PR told him it was a bad move and that he needed to correct the situation. And even then, he still didn't really apologize in the letter. He said, it was how it was like situations where if I was to hit you, and you probably deserve because I hit you, but I'm apologizing. I'm saying, I apologize for hitting Mike, but Mike shouldn't have done this to me. So it's kind of like, I apologize for doing it, but you should have done this. So his Instagram apology that he put on there, it was kind of like one of those situations. So, I don't feel like Will is sorry.
I mean, he's not.
I don't feel like he's sorry. I feel like he said what he said, and he did what he did, and he don't feel bad for that. But I mean, that does create a toxic situation towards where the only way that you feel like you can defend somebody's honor is to be aggressive and violent in that type of manner. If you're in a situation like that, you need to get out of that situation because you'll be fighting all the time and you'll be trying to prove yourself to that person prove yourself to the person and to society all the time that either A, I'm worthy of dating this person, and then B, this person is worthy of me being in their presence. I mean, that's it, right? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, it's a deep topic. I feel like we go through a whole rabbit hole through this whole situation, so.
Well, to that last part, because I don't want to go over it. So let's think about this. He went to the after party, danced to get G with it.
Down.
He was getting down, and his wife was probably laughing and clapping, having a great time. And then, matter of fact, even Tiffany Haddish went to his wife and said, Jada, you need to suck that man deep from the back. So, let me get this straight. Will was happy he got an Oscar, but he was more so happy that he's got his wife's validation. And overall, Jada was happy that she was not only validated by Will, but she was validated by everyone else. Dude, does that sound like a dynamic that you really want to be in?
Not an I want to be in.
What?
But I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, feel like everybody, and I'm going to touch it off, but I said one part. No matter how old you are, no matter how much you don't think this, but it's like everybody seeks validation to an extent. Whether it's validation from society itself, a parent of ours, a son, a daughter, everybody seeks validation to some extent. Some people are better at hiding it than others.
Well, the problem is what type of validation you seek and how you're willing to get it. She literally got validation at the price of her man's moment, and at the price of this man's reputation. He had a great night, but the aftermath is
before and after.
Before and after. But now, a day later, it's a possibility that the Oscar, I'm pretty sure they might be considered taking that back.
Well, so I don't think that's right, because you have a whole bunch of people out here who are like the PEDO files who have their awards. You have a lot of people who commit a lot of sex evil assaults, and they keep their awards.
Well,
they keep their companies.
That's just.
I mean, you slap somebody, so you don't take my award for slapping somebody?
Well, I think the thing is to send a message. This ain't the Source Awards. This is not the BET Awards. This is not what we do here. And and at the end of the day, even though none of that should be happening at our own events, I definitely, but house that obviously I think that we should make our own, but we're trying to break into this house, and you do that, and you do it you're doing this for someone, like we saying, it's disrespecting you. And even though you said, well, maybe it works for some, doesn't work for others, I still feel like, I still think, that it's a base and borderline that everybody runs off of, that most people can say, that ain't right. That ain't right. That's why we have laws. That's why murder is okay. capital punishment because most people agree like that doesn't feel right when you kill someone. So in this situation, like the way that you acted, and then for you to celebrate it as if like you won in the moment, dude, you got people talking about you in a way like, yeah, you may got an Oscar now, but we ain't gonna remember you for this. Like, what is more important, the way that your wife see you, which is obviously she doesn't respect you, and she doesn't really want to see the best for you, or at least if the way that the public may see you, which everybody respects Will or did, you know. So it's just, you know, what you got a moment of happiness and you felt great. You hugged. You probably had the best sex you ever had in your relationship. Whoop-de-doo. Now you gotta wake up to the news and all talks and this and that, having to defend yourself, and then the possibility you know, hopefully it doesn't lead you to get blackballed at this point.
I don't think it's gonna blackball him. Something we got a minute left. Okay. So I'll say this. I don't think Will's gonna get blackballed. I think this should happen this past week. It's gonna blow over. But one thing I will say that you found that I find very interesting. We had this whole Ukraine and Russia situation going on. Mm-hmm. Since this whole Will Smith situation, have you heard anything else about that?
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to get off it. Well, I don't look at conspiracy theories, but I mean, let's just...
We'll say that for another video, but have you seen any more talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I go to the gym, that's on the news, but you got to think what's locally, what's going on over in the U.S. and what really will dominate. So, you know, celebrity news will dominate because that's always playing. Like, you can go on Fox and all, they're still talking about Ukraine and everything. You can go on YouTube now, you'll still see the CBS bulletins and all the news stuff from Ukraine and all that. So,
but I just feel like when something happens major in the world, a celebrity do something like real crazy, that would take precedent over everything that's been talked about in the current moment. Mm-hmm. And everybody's focused on the Will situation. I feel like this is going to blow over next week. Everybody's talking about it. I don't feel like Will's going to be blackballed. I don't feel like things happen with Will. It's going to be a little smudge in his career of a mistake that he made that he should have done. But I don't really feel like it's going to negatively affect him because as much as people don't agree with what he did, you have as much as the same group of people who agree with what he did. So it's like, there's nobody really in the middle. Everybody is either 100% agree or 100% don't agree.
Well, it's not going to be as much of a smudge as I may not be on the mainstream level, but on certain talking points with relationship dynamics right now, especially within, you know, the black sphere of looking at the man and woman dynamic, this will be a major talking point in how the way the women reacted to it, how the way the men reacted to it, you know, ones who was for it. It may be on the mainstream level. I think this is going to be another thing to talk about as far as how we look at each other, how we deal with each other, and just the idea of what we think a relationship really is. Like, you know, you really want to go somebody to go to bat for you, and then on top of that, you know,
who will slap somebody for?
I do think as well. It's crazy to me if it would be a white comedian that would have did the same thing. We'll try that. Just let's think about who Hollywood not dominated by. He would have thought twice to know that it would have been ramifications of me touching this white comedian that I can really get blackballed for this. Mm-hmm. But for him to feel that comfortable because it was another black man, that says a lot. So that's his person to me as well. You know, that we will be that aggressive towards each other, but you know,
not to the other ones.
So,
I mean, I saw on the internet what I've said is that people pick and choose who they want to do things to, and it was unfortunate it happened, but it happened, and want to see how things go later on down the line.
We'll see, but I think, you know, be a big talking point within, you know, the black dating sphere and how the way, you know, men was seen as expendable. How we are supposed to do these things, you know, to protect without thinking.
Protect. Well, Also on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching the very first episode of You Right, I'm Wrong. If you agree with what was said, if you agree with what Matt said, if you agree with what I said, or if you disagree with both of us, put your thoughts down in the comments below. Let us know how you feel. And this podcast or talkcast, I like talkcast more.
That's cool.
We'll do this on a weekly basis, so episodes will go up probably every Monday and Tuesday, depending on when we talk about these videos. So, you have anything else you want to add on?
Oh man, nah man, hey, you know, y'all be safe out there. Y'all be safe out there.
And if anybody disrespects you, slap them. Slap around, slap. But
burn your ass.
Like this channel, subscribe to the video, and subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends, and yeah.
Hit that notification bell.
So you see anytime we post something new.
Yeah.
But until then, my name is Orlando, and
Mike, bald head.
It's the Milk Dud.
Yeah, it's Milk Dud.
But we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.
You're right, I'm wrong.